So here you go, everybody and anybody.
So Rob, I'm not stopping you from coming here. Nobody told you you couldn't come here. You can go wherever you want. It's free country last time I checked. Right? Freedom of speech. Right? Freedom to accuse. Right? I'll tell you what. You bring the whole gang with you. All of them. Bring them all. And see me. You know, Stephen, son of James. You bring them all. I'm not stopping you. In fact, I'll leave the light on for you. How about that?
Poker face. You see that poker face? So I was gonna head down there before. Me and my wife, she doesn't really even know why she would be going anyway. And I don't know, was that before I met you, Justin, or after? I think I met you first, right? And then I was gonna go down there. I think that's the way it was. This time around, it's more real than anything else. It's more, for me, on my end. Because the way things are, how is anything going to change anywhere? How is anybody going to change anything? If you don't try to do something about it. So whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm trying. This is my effort. My effort is pushing record and trying. Tina used to live right there on the right-hand side. So back then I was willing. I was ready to go. Had it all set up. My son's mom was gonna watch him. I was probably only just going for the day, I think. I didn't even have like a hotel plan or anything. This time around I do. So I'm planning a little bit more accordingly and more professionally, because this is something I never did before. I only drove to Florida, and I drove with my wife, I drove with my brother Mike the one time with his girlfriend and I think the kids, I don't remember. I haven't gone far besides Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Last time I did anything and just up and met somebody, I met Justin in Pittsburgh. But before that, I haven't really traveled anywhere. I had no reason to. There's no reason for me to travel anywhere unless me and my wife take a vacation or something. That's it. But we haven't even been able to do that. Money isn't the easiest thing to come by. So why would I leave? Why would I leave? Why would I go anywhere to another state anytime soon to do anything? Why wouldn't? There's nothing that's leading me anywhere to do anything. Because me and my wife can't even go anywhere and have a vacation. But I feel like it's necessary to go meet Steve and James Deshawn. Because I've accused him of many things. Can you imagine if I'm wrong about all of it? Well, if I am, I repent. I'll repent from doing it. But either way, what I'm going to start doing anyway. Because I think I'm just done with paying so much attention to everybody and time stamping everything. It's time for some type of real action, something real to take place, because everything else so far is just la make-believe pretend world. Before I go and meet Steve and James Deshawn, I want people to know my history and what I've been through and what I thought and think still that Steve is part of. I used to talk to him before, face to face. And at first it was cool. But then it started to get more, it felt more forced. And at the time, Steve and James, you know, he lured me in with Harold Camping and Gematria. But then once we had a dispute about things, it seemed like he turned and he showed the other side of Harold Camping in Gematria is what he did. He told me the truth. It's what it said in Gematria. But again, Gematria, is it good? Is it evil? Or is it just what it is? And if you can figure out the terminology of it and the purpose of it, it unlocks other areas of your ability to comprehend what this planet is and what people are doing right now and where we're at. So I used to talk to him a lot. There's thousands of text messages, seemed like, at least over 100. And at the time, I just thought he was a poor, suffering servant. And I helped him pay a couple bills, I think. One bill, maybe sent him some money. I never wanted anything in return. Then I started to think afterwards, wait a minute, this guy has the freaking world script in his hand. Who are you trying to kid, dude? Who are you trying to kid? Stuffed Peppers and 6 and 4 and all the events that took place surrounding the similarities of the circumstances that were involved in those world-dominating events. And it just kept happening. So I paid more attention. But at the same time, he kept calling me a liar and a blasphemer. And then I'm thinking, like, who are you trying to, what are you even doing? He must be trying to trick a following, I guess. And then he just kept doing it. And I started exposing him and showing his true colors, and then using the Gematria book against him in a way where, just so you know, I can type in something that comes up to 6662. And it can pertain to something that's actually something that I have a strong opinion towards. So I typed it in. Back then, I was very immature. There's a lot of things I did because I didn't mature yet. you get to a certain point where you finally do mature and you ease up on the way that you used to be. So what you do is you ask God to forgive you for what? What should you ask God to forgive you for? If this is a growing pain and you needed to go through it, and it's basically like written where that's what you're supposed to go through, isn't that the way of life and just how it should be? Why are we apologizing to God? He should be apologizing to us for leaving us in this planet, this prison planet since birth. Father, you left me here? Where are you? Because I don't see you anywhere. Oh, you mean like the little blessings of being able to have a job and having some money to do things and whatever? Yeah. But see, if you're the Lord God Almighty in heaven, and this was your idea to let us work for a living and just, you know, work hard for, there's nothing wrong with working hard. It's good for you. Well, Father, how come you have like 1% of the other people that tend to have all the money and they never have to work a day in their life? And you know what? They live forever and they have mansions. And I mean, I'll tell you, they're taking your spot, aren't they? Where are you at, God, in this world? For real. Who's going to represent the Word of God? And what are you going to do about it with that Word? If you have attention of people that they just may be pretty important people, just maybe a little bit. Yep, a little bit. If I can meet the real Jonathan Kleck, I'd be glad to. But I just feel like there's still that spin. We're in the land of Oz. Everything's going to be revealed regardless, and everybody knows it. But they sure do have fun taking it to the very evil end in some cases. Different situations in the world with people. So at this time, I don't know what change is supposed to look like. When I'm still going, waking up in the morning, doing something I don't feel like doing. Going somewhere knowing that I'm going to just spend at least 8 hours just passing the time. It's such a waste of life, passing the time. I enjoyed more the subcontracting part because I raced against time. But that's because you're trying to make the money and you got to hurry up and hurry up and hurry up. And man, it's not a way to live life. I don't agree with it anymore. So I'm trying something different. I'm trying to work a little bit less, still be able to pay the bills. My wife and my son, we now split the bills, the rent. I still pay half of it. I let them pay half of the other portion because I make the same amount that both of them do. So it's only fair to be that way. So I'm able to free up a few dollars here and there. So now I'm going to take a trip down to Michigan, down to Bay City first. I'm gonna go to Bay City first in Michigan. I already booked it. It's already booked. So something's motivating me to go in that direction. I'm going to meet the person who has accused me. I mean, just, you have the videos. You see what it is. Somebody who has made at least, no exaggerating, 250 videos with either my name on it or talking about me in it. Which means he probably only made about 300 videos total. 50 of other things. Or maybe maybe I didn't even pertain. It was he was talking to me through like a cryptocurrency kind of language. Let me know how the money, how it's going to be exchanged shortly, how it's really going to work. But I don't know if those stories are true in the Bible, and you're in that position, you might be screwed. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to just go and do something that you never did before. Well, actually, I kind of did before. But when I met Justin, I met him, I went to see him as a friend only. No fallout, no suspicion of him being in the NSA or anything. Like, nothing. No YouTube agent, no anything. Boy, how gullible was I? So think about when I left and went to Pittsburgh back then to meet somebody for the first time on YouTube. I don't regret that. I don't need to apologize for any of that. God doesn't need to forgive me for anything on that day. I went in complete honesty looking to meet someone I thought was pretty cool on YouTube. Still is. But, you know, you got to act to fulfill, and I get it. I just choose to turn off communication with people until there's a result, and then we can all be real, and you can just talk the truth and stop playing games. So, I don't expect to meet Steve and James, and I'm going to be like told all the truth I've ever wanted to hear, and I'm not going to have to read between lines and just understand body language. Because I don't know, what if Steve is someone in that spot that nobody can hear what he does, nobody can actually see him, nobody can see him, nobody knows what's said in the house because it's complete protected, or maybe even the underground portion. You know, if you had something like that'd be pretty cool. Batman, I'm Robin. I'm coming to see the Bat Cave. I don't know. I thought you were Batman, Steve. If you're Batman, you should have an underground cave with a really cool Batmobile, probably a Corvette. But they're not accusations. They're jokes. Just like WWE. Just like WWF. These are jokes. Who really knows what anybody has except for the ones that can surveil people? So, what if Steve's house was one of those houses where he told you to come on up here? The only way that you're going to know what's going on is you have to be in an isolated place where nobody can hear you or see you except for the one that can control that space. Because somebody at the top is a person where nobody is watching them. They're watching everybody. There's somebody up at the top. There's at least one person at the top that truly nobody can see or hear what he says. And he can say whatever he wants in private. And he can go through the airwaves with some type of IP address that only him and those that have the link can actually read it, see it, hear it. So there's a group at the top. Even if Stephen James is not one of those up at the top, I believe he will be. Because in the certain circumstances, he's living it out on Earth. And I'm really living it out on Earth without knowing it. At least Steve knows it, and others know others know exactly what it is that he's going to fulfill from beginning to end. Just because it's a mystery doesn't mean people are lying about things, because you have to figure out the mystery. It ain't for someone to just tell you the truth. So I don't expect to hear it. Whatever comes about is what happens. I'm not going to be putting a camera in his face. I'm not going to be, say, if he wants to record something, that's what he wants to do. I'm just going down where I'm heading to. Everything's in the open because I know I'm being surveilled wherever I go anyway. I can't get away from anything. Now, maybe Stephen can. But I won't know. I may never know. Or I won't know until later on. So this is more of a just getting, I look at it as a second portion of getting the knowledge that I need before 11/11/2022, because I'd already taken off of work the week of the 7th to the 11th on November. And I'll be down there. It's a hotel for 3 days. It's not that bad. I mean, it's going to cost me more in gas than it is to stay at the hotel for 3 days. It's a little over $300. And it's right in the middle where everything is. There's everything you need is there. It's going to cost about $400 and something for gas up and back. And I'm going to miss out on a week's worth of pay. So all in all, it's, you know, it's a good, few bucks that I would have if I decided not to go. Because the hotel is like $700, and then the gas is like $400. I mean, the hotel and the gas all here is like $700. And then my week's worth of pay for that week. So I'm already going to be in a minus. And then, you know, whatever, if I need food, if I want to go golfing or something. So just look at it, it's like a $2,000 loss if you look at it as a loss or an experience. More like an investment. I'm going to say, I'm not saying in my spirit that I think I'm taking a loss, because this is only a gain, and it's an investment. So it's a future investment and a gain, and it only costs like $2,000. So that's pretty cool for the future. I'm going to look at this moment as a turning point. It's just a turning point in the reality. When you finally meet somebody that you've been clowning the entire time, and he's like saying he's King David and all this nonsense, and it's like, but what if he really is? And this is the actual process that it takes. And whoever believes in that before he becomes king, well, you know you're getting put right in, you know, second place. But you got to believe in, just like people, if you believe in me, where what my vision is for the future, if I can make that happen and you believe in it, then just believe you're going to be a part of it, and then you're going to be in it, and then that's how it's going to work. So if you don't take a chance, that's on you. It is what it is. I'm not going to say, if you call me a false prophet, you just freaking jumped off the deep end like Jonathan Kleck is telling you, because I've been called everything. Even recently, Stephen James called me a false prophet. Whatever. I'm a snare. I'm just something you're going to stumble over constantly until you get it. So I'm going to your boss's house whether you like it or not. And even if he's not like an actual boss where he signs your checks, because I don't think Steve signs everybody's checks. He doesn't have to. Why would he do that? That would take so much time. Right, Steve? Why would you sign all those checks? There's people put in place for that. You need the rest, Steve. You need to focus on, I mean, listen. God the Father, whom I know you speak of, is the same that I'm talking about. So God the Father has given you a position to be at right now, because in order for have as much time as you possibly need, because he knew that when he sent me in your direction, you were going to need all the time in the world where you could barely focus in on anything else except for the person that he sent to you. Now, I didn't know why I was sent. I didn't even know why you came in my direction. I didn't know why I got so attacked by everybody. I didn't know. I had no clue what it was all about. Now I start to learn a little bit more. It's in the beginning, man, I'd rather people lie about me, talk trash to me, but then in the end, you know the real deal. Instead of people clinging to me with flatteries and pretending they love me, but yet their lips are far from me. And that's what Christ said that they would do. Christ said just keep quoting scripture as much as you can remember, because he barely even remembered. He had to say, like, don't your own scriptures say, I mean, somewhere in one of those books, I don't know, maybe it was the Old Testament, that I said you're all gods? Didn't your book say that? Or your law? Your law. As if he's saying, didn't you guys write the Bible and that's what you said about me? But it's not like you really believed in me, but I appeared anyway, and here I am, so deal with it. This is the fulfillment of it. The expectation of not expecting it to be true, and then it is. And then something so simple people may not want to understand or believe. But if you're someone getting ready to be in a very promising position because the Father's sending you in that direction, I may be right, I may be wrong. I don't think so, but I hopped on Derek Brose's show, and I just thought that was important just for that time, just for that moment, especially on 12/12/2021, which ties into Steve and James DeShawn. Jonathan Click dropping 12/12 all yesterday, or in this video, lining up with Steve and James DeShawn, 12/12. Now, I was on the week before and the week after too, but 12/12 was a good one. That was my favorite show. I felt more comfortable on that one. I never did that before. So I just hopped on Derek Brose's show. I knew he was a Hollywood producer, and I knew that he has ties in some way or another, and is in a very high position to be able to change things on this planet. I hopped on his show, did it 3 weeks in a row. Thank you, Derek. Everybody can take it for what it's worth. I take it for it's a well invested time, and it's something that leads the way for the future. Like being on the radio, or being more professional on the radio, or making it real, where, all right, now all the things I've ever said about Derek Brose, all the videos I've ever watched of his, and he now invited me on his show, and he knows all about my videos, everything I've ever said about him, and I've judged him, and I believe I called him a false prophet, maybe, or no, Antichrist. I forget. I've accused everybody of it. But I still went on his show, and it was a good move. So that's one down. I've accomplished talking directly to someone I believe in the highest position on this planet, and doesn't even truly live on our planet, lives above us in some other realm that's just higher up. I don't know what it truly is, but up higher. They don't have to do anything, but I believe they're all coming down from up above in a literal sense, in a spiritual sense. As above, so below. What's going to happen up there happens on the earth. Heaven comes down here. But the angels have to come down here first. Now, do they have to fall as in they're doing something wrong? Or that's the first, the beginning, and then the true, like the virgins, the real God's angels, the one that comes from above, they're coming down here to change everything, because the Pharaoh on earth is going to play it out to the very end, because he's still not truly believing that how God actually works, because he needs to see it with his own eyes. He needs to see all of these angels that came down communicating with each other and talking to the same source that's showing you all their communications. You got to have a source that is like it's just like a pole where you plug in, you tap in. When you plug in an electric guitar into an amp, you plug it into the amp, it amplifies whatever it is that you're doing. If you're trying to hide something, it's going to amplify it. And that amplifier has to be able to understand having 4, 5, 6, 7 multiple different plugs of communication, like as if you're at an operator's office back in the day. Dial 0 for operator. She'll plug you in. She'll get you communicated with the person you're looking to talk to. So likewise on YouTube, I find people that are talking to each other, and I stumble upon, oh, wait a minute, you're talking about Click, hold on. And then I'll show him, and then Click will make another message to that same person that I showed you on my channel. I'm the one getting these people to communicate with each other. So, and it just happened. It just happens. It's just the way it is. It's something that was generated out of nothing. So I'm getting all these people to talk with each other. And so I think with those that are doing that, in whatever timeline they are, they're all talking, and it's time for all of their actions to start manifesting in real life. So I believe that's what this is. I believe this is the time. If I didn't believe this was the time, I wouldn't be heading up to go meet the most important person on the planet, in my opinion, for me to meet at this exact time. To meet in person, face to face, at his house. Other than that, there would be no reason for me to go anywhere besides to work. Save up for my tires. I need some new tires. I may get a new set of rims altogether, because it's like $500 more just for rims, if you just, instead of getting just tires, and then you kind of get your own set. But I'll focus on that need, so I don't get flat tires. But who's stopping me from going? Steve said he's not stopping me. If I don't make it somehow, then yeah, it must have been somebody else. But just know I'm willing. Just know I'm willing and I'm heading there. I figured I'd show up on election day. On November 8th. Check in at the hotel. November 8th, election day. Stop by in the morning to go see Stephen James. Probably around 8, 9-ish. Somewhere around there. Maybe 8, you know, later on. Maybe early 10, 11 minutes after 9 o'clock or something. It could be 11, 12 minutes before 9, 11, 12 minutes. It could be 11 or 12 minutes before or after. Total like 24 minutes in between, somewhere around there. It could be 12, 12. It could be 12 that way. It could be 12 this way. It could be about 12 minutes before 9. It could be about 11, 12 minutes, 12, 11, 12, 12 after. 12 minutes after 24. Only like 10 people got that, or maybe 12. I think only 12 people understood what I just said there. Maybe 13. Judas still understands too. So Judas was played out before in my life. Judas may be tried to play out again. It may be in my life again. I don't know. But I know I already went through something similar, and it was a damn honor. It was a damn honor. It was even more of an honor to be crucified by Matthew on a daily basis, because I didn't know that he was one of the people sent in my direction. But after this 11/11 peace deal, there's going to be no more accusations, no more. I'm just going to move on with the next phase of my life. I know that this portion's coming to an end. A lot of the sitting behind a computer stuff I've been doing is going to slow down. I may be traveling a little bit more. Who knows? See how this pans out. I just can't afford to do it all the time, and that's the main thing. I'm sure I would love doing it. But at times, at times, I mean, all the time, I have bills to pay all the time. So that'll be Wednesday in the midst of the week on 11/9. So I'm going to meet Stephen James to show him on 9/11 on 11/9. If the Lord willing, because all I can do is go. See what happens. What's going to happen? Well, let's find out. It would definitely be the first of something this drastic, because this time I'm going somewhere. I'm staying for a few days. I'm going to visit the area, but I'm going to go check in, relax, and then go to sleep, wake up, go meet Stephen James on 11/9/2022 at probably around 9/11. I'd say give it, I don't want to wake you up before 8:48 a.m. I figure you might want to at least rest until about 9, so give you a few minutes. And from that point on, I don't know. I may never see anybody ever again in my life. Sure, Robin, come on in. Where'd Robin go? Huh? He never showed. He said he went to your house. He never showed up. Steve will do a video the next day. Robin never showed up at my house. He's lying. You know him. He's a ham bone. He's a liar. But it's like I'm getting ready to meet my I mean, can I say this? Can I really truly say this? My worst enemy ever in the history of the world? Who has come after me more than Stephen James? Truly, with who he controls, with his ability of his knowledge of what he knows, because that's what it's about. You can only control people with the knowledge that you have over them that they don't know. So, whoever Stephen James really is, I'm going to find out more, because now meeting someone face to face is a whole different ball game. So it's like two arch enemies, arch rivals are going to meet on his home turf. I'm coming into his home turf. Listen to what I've accused him of being. And I'm not saying it ain't true, but I can't prove it's true either, so take it for how I say it. I said Stephen James Sean is the top Luciferian United States head leading gang stalker in America. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm coming up with random thoughts. I'm saying that because on a website that's still up for some reason says those exact words. But they said those exact words after I came across Stephen James, and then it seemed like he turned on me, and then all of a sudden it's like a fight, a fallout. So that fallout definitely happened in my life. So there may be some time bandits trying to steal some time. I just want to make sure I can put that to an end real quick. So being able to go through that first truly with someone who is proven the real deal, to be able to actually show you that all this stuff happened in my life that's involving with Stephen James and what's written about him. I didn't write that website, but it's out there. And he's in with the Fitz James family, like real good personal close buddies with LeBron James and James Harden and Fitz James family. And like a mob leader, mobster boss, top Luciferian. Vicar of Lucifer is the title that was given. So those are the things that are said. Whether or not it's true, nobody else on planet Earth has that title except for him. So there's something going on there. Whether that's true or not, it's either going to go in. It's still a very powerful person, whether it's true or not. So that's who I'm going to meet in real life. Over 5 years of just basically roasting Stephen James DeShawn. But I've given him the most entertainment he's ever had, and he thoroughly appreciates every video. He can act like it bothers him. It's an act, everybody. Relax. He's acting. I'm going to put it all out there before I repent of all my sins and get baptized, because I can't say one way or another what water baptism actually does for you, besides wets your head. But in the spirit, that's already happened to me. And I feel like I've already been baptized by Stephen James DeShawn. I feel like he's already anointed me with oil. I feel like it's an unusual way of saying I'm paying attention to this one person on the planet out of 7 billion people. I came from a planet up above just for this purpose. You're all going to find out soon, but I figured maybe Robin will start telling you, because these things are going to take place, and you're going to find out in the end that the most important person that you slandered is along with the most second important person that you've slandered, that are both going to be in charge of the highest realm of the spirit on the planet, where there's two or more. This is a long, enduring, out of nowhere, just what a miracle it's going to be to see it actually take place and manifest, because of just thinking about things and watching stuff and talking to people and finding out all the truth of, at least most of the truth of why everybody's even doing this right now, the timeline. And that's 5 years. So basically, Steve, I was your friend for about a year, right? No, a little more than 6 months, maybe 9 months total, probably around there. Probably around 9 months. Oh God, my brother's Nova. He doesn't even live here, but yet he'll park his car here and take up a spot. Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So this is a first time for me to do something as important as this. And what may come of it, who knows? Who knows? But I know how important numbers are. So being there at 11:09, and I'm staying until Thursday, Friday, I'll be checking out right around, I think it's 11 o'clock, between 11 and 12 on 11/11/2022. So that'll be the last day that I'll be in Michigan. And so then I'll leave then. What I'm hoping is just the simple fact that it's on the 11s, and I'm really going to do it. I'm really going to do it. I'm really going to go there. Unless something stops me from going there. But I don't see why anything would. It's free will. Because, again, YouTube started their first upload in their video April 23rd, 2005. And I decided to make my first video on April 2nd, 2017. That's right. It was 11 years, 11 months, and 11 days in between. And my very first video was 1 minute and 11 seconds long. Then I came across Stephen James DeShawn within that period of time. And before the 11th month and the first day that I started YouTube with my 1 minute and 11 second video, after 11 years and 11 months and 11 days since YouTube uploaded their first video, I winded up getting crucified on March 2nd, 2018, 11 months and 1 day after I started YouTube with my Bowie video, coming in with a bow. Bowie Merlin's Fake News. The channel was Bowie Merlin's Fake News. So Robin's Hood came in with a bow. And the people will hate him. But the ones that run the system will love him. So I'm going to meet the ones that run the system. I already met the youngers. I already met Jonathan, if that's what, if that's the role that, even if it was just perceived to be Justin Sims, Michael, and Saul as Stephen James. if that was the script, because it kind of fits. It kind of fits. But then Peter would be someone from before Paul. So after that period of time that I was crucified by Matthew daily, and he was showing me that he's like a top commander, and he's able to send the trolls in my direction, which means he was in charge of crucifying me daily with his trolls that he claimed they weren't. So he was crucifying me with 111 subscribers on that 11th month and the first day since I started YouTube, with my 1 minute and 11-second video for the first time ever on April 2nd, 2017, 11 years, 11 months, 11 days after YouTube started their very first upload, April 23rd, 2005. So I'm going to go to a place. If I take the toll route to get to my house to the motel, it's 10 minutes. It's 10 hours and 10 hours and 10 minutes long. But if I go without the tolls, it's at 11 hours and average of 11 minutes, because it went from, I punched it in again out front of my house. It was at 11:14. An hour beforehand, it was 11 hours and 10 minutes. So it's and I'm gonna go there until the 11th, until 11/11 of 2022, which happens to be 11 years and 5 months and 21 days after God's judgment of warning us that Christ is returning on the earth. 11 years and 5 months and 21 days ago, in the 2000th year of 2011, May 21st, 5/21. It all is about the 11s, matching up the 11s, and just being the number one, period. You're number one. If you have so many 11s attached to you, you're number one, because it's been proven that the number 2 doesn't even fall in place with you, because you're number one all alone by itself, because you're the only one doing it. So it all has to line up with number one. In the 600th year of Noah's life, 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, and the 17th day of the month, didn't that line up too with the solar eclipse that happened, the big, that, Stephen James is going by, and Jacob Israel, the top channels? Wasn't that on August 21st, 2017? And there's a crossing. And then 6 years in the 600th year, so 5 years later, in the year 2022, August 21st, 2 months and 17 days later, the 2nd month and the 17th day, 2 more months, August, September, October 21st, the 21st, of October, 10 more days, leaves you with 11 days after that, because subtract 10 from 21, that's 11 days, talking about or it's the 17th day. Is it the 17th? I believe that lands on 7/11, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the 17th day of the 2nd month lands on November 7th, 2022. So in the 600th year of Noah's life, from that eclipse, that solar eclipse, August 21st, 2017, 5 years later, and then 2 months later, the 2nd month and the 17th day of the month. So 2 more months from that point on, and 17 days from that point on, August, September, October 21st, 17 days left. There you go. Lands on November 7th, 2022. three and a half days later is 11/11. So again, it's just the second month and the 21st day of the month. It's all lining up with 21s as well. Jacob Israel talks about the 11/11 like no other this year, as if it's going to have a meaning. Well, if it doesn't, maybe me and Stephen James DeShawn can have a meeting and it can mean something to us. And maybe that's what Father is telling me to do. So I don't impede upon the Gangstalk Corporation, stop them from doing anything. So don't impede upon me to get into Stephen James DeShawn's house on 9/11 a.m. at 11/9/2022. And then maybe I can really start to learn a lot of stuff. For real. All jokes aside, time to move on. I've grown up. I know when it's time to change the pace. Close the chapter of that book and move on with the next chapter of my life, which I would prefer to be a traveling part of my life. So I'm going to take, it's like, all right, I got to take $2,000 altogether because I'm going to miss out on work. I'm going to go here and pay for a place to stay. Maybe go golfing, have some money to spend on things. Take a $2,000 investment, take a little vacation by myself. I need that too. First time I'll be away from my wife for that long of a period of time in 13 years. Since we've been married for, that's right, 11 years. So me and my wife have been married since February 12th, 2011. So 2022 was 11 years. 11 years and 8 months. 11, 8, 3 more. In December, in January, in 2023, it'll be 11 years and 11 months and almost a full 12 years of marriage. Maybe I can heal her of her, the sickness that she's had for 12 years. I think someone had like a bleeding problem. Maybe she's the daughter of someone that needed to be healed of after 12 years of being with somebody that was Christ-like as much as possible and never cheated on her with, a physical person, but was cheated on. Kind of like how Mary was accused. So I'm just going to make manifest whatever I can in my life. This is the world script, right? At some point, I'm supposed to wake up and realize you need to start getting on the move there, buddy. You got to start making it real. So let me make it as real as I can on the perfect numbers that you can't make this stuff up. And when I leave on 11/11/2022, I'm going to feel good about what I did. It's going to be a really good drive home. I'm going to think about everything that I've learned, that Steve taught me, the whole experience. Whoever comes down, he said he's inviting everybody that wants to come down there. Who would come down there? Who can and who will? If you have the ability to, would you? I have the ability to because I'm making the ability. I told my boss I'm taking off that week. I'm going to miss out on my week's worth of pay. I don't get a paid vacation. And wherever I go, I got to pay for it. So in the future, depending on how this turns out, could even do YouTube videos. I'm not pressure. I'm not doing that thing where you even feel like you have to even say a word in my camera, Steve. And the same thing with you. This is between me and you, really, but kind of public. But once it's closed doors, it's closed doors, and you probably would prefer it that way anyway. Like my cell phone stays outside. I'm not bringing my cell phone to you when I step to the door, and I don't wear wires, and you know it. So I'm not recording anything unless you say you actually want it to be recorded. Just so you know that from the gate. You do have my number, but I blocked you. But I think you may have my newer number and you're not blocked. I can't remember. I may decide to unblock. You know what? Whoever shows up, I guess I'm going to unblock you. Whoever doesn't show up, you're getting blocked. Carlson, are you going? You're close by, aren't you? I know Brian Tucker, you would between the end of October, but because you have the ability, but I can't go. Then the dates are more important after that, because I don't really truly think anything is going to happen on October 21st again, or the 31st again. But if the second 9/11 happens in Philly, well, I'm in Michigan, so you can't pretend to show somebody in a face mask that looks like me that's going to be walking by. I have plans to be somewhere else anyway. But wouldn't that be crazy if it actually happened and I'm at Steve's house? Well, at least I'll have a witness, right? I'll have a damn good one. I was here with the king. I couldn't have been anywhere else. So I'm going to go and do something that basically I've never done before in my entire life. And the last person I'm afraid of on the planet is Stephen James DeShawn. Even though he's known as the top Luciferian head United States gang stalker in America and is the evilest person on the planet according to the website, and has made almost a lot of videos about me, call me a liar when I know I'm not. So I know he's lying about me. And that hasn't been solved. He hasn't ever said anything other than I'm still a liar. But I'm going to meet him face to face. And I know that he's the one lying about me. So he's not going to make me stop saying what I know to be true. And I'm not going to make him stop lying, because this deception is necessary for those that are involved. And this is what's happening. And I'm going to do my best to make this picture as clear as possible. Now, I don't know exactly what it's all going to mean, but it could mean absolutely nothing for everybody else. But I know better, so I'm just going to go with it. This is what I call the Father leading me in this direction, which is the Most High God Spirit. I believe Stephen James knows the same spirit right now. He knows it. He's known it. He's been lying about me from the beginning. He never stopped. And I'm going to meet him at his house 10 hours away on his turf for 3.5 days in a foreign land where I've never been before, don't know anybody. What if I'm gang stalked? That doesn't stop anywhere you go. So I've already conquered that part. It is what it is, wherever I go. The Father's with me anyway. Even if it's a literal one that has the place, the authority as the Father. But I just want to let you know that the spiritual Father is always in my spirit. And I know that his eyes are watching because he has all his people watching me. And I got to set the example. And with what I learn, I just gotta go with it. So who's in? Justin, are you in on it? I mean, not that. I already know you're in on it. I meant, are you in? Like, are you in to get there? Everybody gets there on their own. I'm going solo. I'm staying in my motel, my hotel. It's a hotel. It's a hotel. I'm staying in my hotel solo. Everybody gets their own place. you don't want to impose on Steve and stay there, because I think he has a couple people staying there. And I mean, if you want to save money, and if you're okay with it, I'm sure Steve's fine with it, right, Steve? Well, I mean, you may be, you may not be, but I would say it's going to cost people less to stay at a hotel than it will to get that, to drive with the gas. That I can bet you, because I already paid for it. And there's golf courses close by. I don't know how well I can swing. I'm still injured from this. I don't know, really. Maybe it's a hernia. Maybe my spleen ruptured. Maybe, I don't know yet, because I didn't go anywhere I wanted to see how the pain can diminish. But it still does diminish a little bit. Every day but it also flares up at times too. It flares up more when I work. It's been feeling good all day yesterday. Today feels pretty good because I didn't do any work. I go back to work, it's just immediate. And the less food I eat too. So I know if I want to feel better, it's always a good thing to eat less anyway. So there you have it. I'm meeting the biggest enemy I've ever met on planet Earth, whom I talked to in the beginning of the YouTube world back in 2018, face to face, plenty of times, many conversations, and I cut him off because I wasn't having it. You're not controlling my life, period. So I proved that already. And now, after that fallout, I'm actually going to go meet you at your house. Well, you're not coming to my house, so I got to go. This is, to me, this is more important than meeting Donald Trump in person. I'd rather meet Stephen James DeShawn right now. Out of everybody in the planet, I'm going to go do something that I now want to do more than anything. More than any person that you can say, I want to meet this person, I want to meet that person. No, I want to meet Stephen James DeShawn, because he knows the person that you want to meet, and that person, or at least that image, ain't shit to who you're meeting. But how do you prove that? How do you even know that? I don't know any of it. I can't. I just believe it's true. I believe at this time, Stephen James DeShawn is the most important person for me to meet at 9:11 a.m. on 11/9/2022. For the first time after, well, I'll do the math. From the day I started YouTube till the day I actually met Stephen James DeShawn face to face, it would be somewhere around in the 600 year of Noah's life. It would be, no, it was since I started, in the same year. 5 years, it's been 5 years. October 2nd would be 5 years and 6 months. So that would be 66 months. October 2nd. And then another month, 67 months. October 2nd, 11/2. And then 7 more days later. So it's like 67 months and 7 days or something. I have to do the math when I get home. So yeah. I guess I'll see you then, huh?